Hello and good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. All right, okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get this sorted out because people want to know what we're racing this evening. So I'm going to lose you for the moment and I am just going to run up the randomizer. Bear with me a moment. Okay, so hopefully you can still hear me. Right, hopefully you can. If you can still hear me, basically what we've got in here is a spreadsheet where I have got a number of numbers that are going to be randomly generated here. Give me a double thumbs up if you can hear me, guys. And then we've got the car list, which is the cars that are in the used car dealership. And then on the other side, we've got every single track combination that's in the game. Over here, we have got the choices that the spreadsheet are going to choose for us. Can I get a number between 1 and 10 from somebody? I'm going to take the very first number that somebody puts in the chat because I'm then going to put in, so we got 7 from Gamer Dan. So over here, I'm going to go 1, an arrow down, and you'll see the list is changing. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hopefully we won't have any duplicates. And we have got a duplicate, so I'm going to go one more because we've got the Volvo. So we are going to be running the Honda Civic Type R at Sardegna Layout B, reverse. The BMW Z4 at Sardegna Layout C in reverse. The Renault Avantime 3-litre V6 at Maggiore East. Oh no! I can't believe it's done it. No! No, 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 no. Oh my, no, it's done it. It's done it. It has decided to do the Arbarth. It has done the Arbarth. Oh, I can't do that. I need to stay on. We've got the Arbarth at Le Mans. We might have to reduce the lap time on that one. Dan, you scuppered that because you wanted the Arbarth around stage X. That's your fault. And then we've got the Subaru Impreza Coupe Gr.x. So what I'm going to try and do very, very quickly is I'm going to go with the Honda Civic. And this is the Type R 98. I'm just going to type these in here very quickly. We got the BMW Z4 03. Bear with me a second. We've got the Renault. If I can type, we've got the Renault Avantime 3-litre V6. We've got the A112 Arbarth. I knew that was going to come out. And we got the Subaru Impreza. And that is the Gr.x. And it is the 99 version. So those are the cars that you are going to be looking for. Those will be the cars. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do very quickly is I am going to take a quick snapshot of that screen on my phone so that I've got that as we go through the night. I would if it would focus, get focused. Okay, so we've got those. Come on, there we go. Has that done that? Right, okay. So I've got that on my phone. That's going to challenge my eyes a little bit. And we will go back over to here. So now you guys can get out there and grab those cars. All right, I'm going to put you back on the screen for the moment. And I'll leave you with these guys that are racing. Just whilst I get these into my system. Okay, mic should be back on now. Okay, right, we've now got the list up there. And so what I need to do now is make a mod in... Oh, where's my controller gone? There it is. Oh. So just exit out of there and we'll go into edit settings. And the track is Sardegna layout B reverse. Right, so basically, and we're going to go for the qualifier at 10 past as usual. So basically everything has been selected at random. We selected the cars from the used car dealership. All of the cars that are available in the used car dealership are the cars that have been selected. And then every single track was loaded up and we've chosen from every single track. Oh, is my oh, is it my end or can you hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. So everything is completely randomized in this one. You saw it on the screen. I wrote the spreadsheet. You gave me a number. I went through. On the 7th, it did have a duplicate at the Volvo twice. So I ran it one more time. And then it worked. Okay, so gave me a dank in here. That's all right. That's good. So, yeah. Like I said, at the minute, everybody is going to be in different cars. And a completely topsy-turvy night tonight. Nobody knew what cars we were going to be in. Nobody knew where we were going to be racing or anything else. Let me just double check. I want to make sure that the stream is okay. Come on. Let me just... oh, come on. Let me just skip the ads. And let me just go to live. Yeah, so... Yeah, I can hear myself, so that's good. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. What I do need, though, is I need my little image so that I know what races we're doing this evening. Let's just pull that up, plug my phone in so that it doesn't go flat on me. And I did see a moment ago somebody saying that they want me to race. There is a reason why I'm not racing. I'm not going to get into this too deep, but I've had a headache for the last couple of days, and today when I bend over, when I'm straining, I've got a pain in my forehead. That is an indication that my back is leaking, and that is a bad sign. So I am not putting any stress on my back. When I'm braking, I put stress on my back. So I'm not going to race tonight because I would like to try and do the manufacturers tomorrow morning, and then I'll be taking Saturday afternoon and Sunday completely out. We're going down to my daughter's tomorrow, which will be nice, and I'm planning on relaxing all over the weekend. And it's just a reminder that with my condition, I have got to take it easy. Right, where are we? We've got Greg White, Danny C, Gamer Dan, Wheels Racing, Ollie, Borky, Number One, and Stiggy. They are, look at this, all in the right car. I love this. And we are going to be getting this one underway. And I will be commentating all night. I do love commentating. A few of you have sent me some really nice comments lately about the commentary, and I do love that. And I do understand as well that Brian is watching the stream this evening. He's lined these cars up for us, and I understand he's on a big old commission from the dealership and did the deal with me. And I hope you've all enjoyed the cars. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. Going to be a good one. Here we go. Okay, Crasher can't find the lobby because Barry R is not in tonight. Well, Crasher, if you sign up for PSR and come and join us, you'll be able to jump in at any time at race. But unfortunately, yeah, Barry R not here tonight. Right, let me just get into the display. Obviously, I haven't done a welcome to everybody this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever you are, whatever time of day it is. Sorry for not saying welcome to you guys in the chat. Obviously an awful lot of admin to do at the start of this one because we didn't know which cars we were going to be running in. There's some good combos in here. The Arbarth Le Mans one, I suspect I may well be dispensing with the qualifier, and we'll probably reduce that down to maybe 2 laps. I think anybody doing 6 laps around there in that car will lose the will to live. And also I didn't notice whether it was chicane or not. That could be interesting. And that one could be quite technical because it could be all about slipstreaming. So even though it's a race that I would absolutely hate to be doing, it could even be a good one. It could yet be a good one. We will have to wait and see. But I mean, some of the people that are in: Gr.x, Gamer Dan, Ollie, Drac Fury, Crasher, welcome to all of you. I can see Danak is in. Yeah, all of the other guys that are in that I haven't said hello to. Thank you ever so much for joining me in the chat. And of course, everybody that are on track at the moment: Gamer Dan, Wheels Racing, Danny C, Gr.x, Stiggy, Ollie, Number One Pops, and Borky. Number One has been on fire this week, going really well and up there with the best of the best. And will he be able to push Greg and Dan tonight? We shall see. I can see that Borky's in as well. Borky's been doing really well. He's been having some coaching assistance with a couple of the guys. I know that Hulky's been involved, and he's been getting more consistent, and he's also got new pedals. So I think that some of his pedal issues have been vastly improved as well. Ollie, again, one of our quick racers in the GR cars. How's he going to fare in the road cars tonight? Will be interesting. And we've got Wheels Racing in there as well, Danny C, Stiggy. So lots and lots going on. And we probably won't see many liveries tonight because obviously people have only just gone out and grabbed these cars, and I may well need to wait a moment or two between the races for people to still jump out, dive into the used car dealership and grab the car that they need. And interested to see whether this format works. Normally I will announce the cars and tracks earlier in the day. With this one on a Friday night, I thought we would just throw real spanner in the works when nobody knows what car, what track, zero preparation. This really is going to be a test of driver and car. All the cars are going to be the same. Theoretically, they should all be unmodified, but they're bopped anyway. So there won't be any benefit to anybody that has tuned their cars. All wheels badly into the barrier there. We'll just go on board with Greg. So this one really is going to be a real test of the drivers to see how well they can just jump into a car and onto a track and race. It's going to be really interesting this evening. It will be very interesting to see. And I, for one, are quite looking forward to it. Yes, I was looking forward to getting out on track, but I am listening to my body and I'm doing as I am told tonight. So I've got myself nice and comfortable. I'm not going to be putting any stresses and strains on my back. And you know, I have got to get this sorted out, get myself well. Otherwise, we're going to be back to, well, it won't be a week when I won't be streaming. I've been warned it will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks where I won't be streaming. So I desperately don't want to, I don't want to get into that situation. And again, my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody out there that has got some health issues at the moment. I'm not the only one that's going through health issues right now. You know who you are. My thoughts and wishes are with you, and also those of you with family members with some issues that are going on at the moment. There's 1 or 2 of you with in that situation, and as we go into the weekend, my thoughts, my wishes, my prayers were with all of you guys, and hopefully we can get some better news as we head into the back of January. January 2026 really has been an awful month for illnesses, colds, flu, and more serious illnesses for some of us. And of course, we know of at least one gentleman that is going into his 2nd year of a condition, a horrible condition. So like I said, I really do hope that we can get ourselves sorted out very soon. But all of that is, I'm just going to set aside because this is escape time. This is time to get away from our troubles and our woes, get away from life's pressures, and just get out on track with our friends and have some fun. And talking about having fun, have you looked at the lap times? Danny C has put a 1:43.084. I was looking while I was talking there. Ollie, a 1:43.125, just 0.041 behind. That is nothing. Wheels Racing is 0.087 behind, and then Gamer Dan is 0.162. It is insanely close up front. The top three, just what, 1.5, less than 0.2 of a second between those guys. That's like that. That is insane. This is going to be good. So we've got Danny C's going to lead away Ollie, and then Wheels Racing, Gamer Dan, then number one Pops, Greg White, Borky, Stiggy. No pitting or anything in this one. We're going to go straight into the race. No pitting in this one. And no need to worry about fuel and tyres. It's 1-on-1. This really is going to be it. We'll see how we go. Christian, good evening. I love my Sabelt SRS1 best sim racing seat. I don't know that one. I'm going to have to look that one up. A Sabelt SRS1. I do like mine. I find it very, very comfortable. And I've got myself nice and comfy at the moment. Although too comfortable because I've forgotten to what I'm supposed to be doing tonight. And yeah, just completely chilled and relaxing tonight. So Danny C is going to run us away. We're at Sardegna B in reverse, I believe. Yep, we are in reverse. And they're going to be heading up the hill. We've got the left-hander. Then we've got a complex section down the hill through another complex section. So basically we've got two long, fast sections for some good slipstreaming and overtaking. And then we've got two really nice technical sections where some overtaking can get done if people make mistakes. And talking about mistakes, well, not seeing many at the moment. It all looks pretty tight. Remember, the qualifying lap times were really, really tight. And I'm expecting that is going to carry over into the race. And we can see this already with Ollie's only 0.4 of a second ahead of Danny C at the moment, with Wheels Racing 0.6 behind. So about a second covering the top three. And then just behind we've got more great racing going on. We've got Greg White, Gamer Dan and Stiggy pretty much locked together there. Oh, Greg White just gets the back end of that car out a little bit loose and finds himself into the grass and then into the gravel, possibly dirty tyres. Gamer Dan having to take some avoiding action to avoid him. He does get around the outside and gets that move done. And Stiggy goes up the inside and Greg, oh no, Greg, what are we doing? He's in the gravel. It's not sand, mate. We're not making sand castles tonight. It's gravel. It's designed to slow you down. Stay out of it. Don't go anywhere near it. Exactly as Ollie, Wills and Danny are doing. Ollie 0.7 out front. The top two dropping the pack behind at the moment with 1.7 seconds back to Danny C. Danny has got Gamer Dan right tight behind him at the moment. He's got a slipstream as we go up the hill. It will all depend on how brave they are into the braking zone at the top of the hill. So Ollie, hard on the brakes. You could see the back of that car sliding around. Wheels Racing is a little bit smoother there as they both get the car sideways. Danny C and Gamer Dan with a look up the inside. Can Gamer Dan get that done? He can. Danny's going to try and get up on the inside, but Gamer Dan covers the inside line. Apexes that beautifully. Danny with a slight little nudge through there to say, come on, Gamer Dan, get a move on. All good. No problems with that. That is Danny C basically bump drafting Gamer Dan to say, come on, let's get up with the leaders. We can do this. We're quick enough. Gamer Dan, come on, stop flashing your lights. Get on with this. Otherwise you're going to crash. Oh, I don't believe it. He's racing. He's still got time to flash his lights at the screen. Come on, Dan. Come on, my friend. How far behind are you? 2.6 and closing fractionally. Needs to be closing more. 2.631. Using all the track and the inside there just to get it turned. Oh no, Gamer Dan with a couple of tyres onto the gravel there. Danny C will have seen that. He gets a move up the inside as Dan goes a little bit wide. Danny C holding a beautiful line there, but oh, Dan with 2 wheels in the gravel now. These guys are really, really pushing the track limits. But I think Danny C has got that one done. Dan is looking for a little switch back here. No, it's not going to happen. He's going to have to tuck in behind. You can see that Dan taking a slightly different line. Danny C defending a little bit at the moment. So while these two are fighting, that does mean that the two out front are managing to pull away a little bit. They're 3.2 seconds down the road. But I tell you what, Ollie has got his mirrors full of William. Now, it's good to see Wills racing right up the front again. I got a little bit concerned the other night because I had a couple of nights where he seemed to be right off it, but he's back on it now as we see Ollie with a rare mistake threw it off the track massively, and that has given Wills a 1 second lead that is growing all the time out to 1.2 now. All Wills has got to do is keep this in a straight line and just put in some qualifying lap times, and I think he'll be okay. He's 1.3 seconds ahead at the moment, or just under, and we are at the halfway, well, coming up for the halfway stage. We're going to come down the hill, so we've got half a lap before we go halfway. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but 1.3 ahead at the moment, and still taking tenths out of Ollie, who tries to close up under braking. He does grab a couple of tenths of a second as we go through that corner, but Dan and Danny C are still on it. It's Dan and Dan. I would say Dan the man, but it's Dan the men. They're on it, really on it. Danny C is just half a second off of Gamer Dan, and Gamer Dan putting it in the gravel again. So really pushing it on that corner, the pair of them, and Danny C could see that. He gets another look up the inside, and they're trading places like they're in a trading card game at the moment. I don't quite know whether they think they're playing cards or racing, but at the moment, they are just different lines, slipstream, a wheel in the gravel, and it is constantly changing. And we've got Danny C's looking for it, trying to flash his lights, put his hazards on. I think he's trying to get his car lit up like a Christmas tree as we go up the hill. We've got the left-hander, we've got the right-hander. Gamer Dan with a 4-wheel slide there. They're both off and into the grass. Oh no, was Gamer Dan using Danny C as a ghost car there and followed him off? The number one rule, my friend, in motor racing is drive the track, not the car in front. How often do you hear me say that? Oh, that could have been an opportunity absolutely lost there. Oh, man alive. Oh no, Danny C getting it really bad at the back. He got a massive slide out of the top corner there and into the grass, and that's let Gamer Dan run away. He's 6 seconds down the road now, but he's 6 off of Ollie and Wills, and Ollie and Wills are still very much locked together. There are battles through the pack, so we've got number 1 Pops is just 1.6 off the back of Danny C now, being chased by Stiggy, who's 2.6 back. Borky's 4 back, then Greg White is 1.4, so those two are locked in a battle as well. But up the front, it's Wills Racing and Ollie as we join him into the gravel yet again. What is it with these guys and the gravel? They're not listening to me. You're not supposed to put wheels in the gravel. It's designed to slow you down. Why do you keep doing it? They're just not learning. Once is a mistake and a learning curve. Twice? Well, that's, it could be a mistake. 3 times, my friend. Oh, 3 times. That is just not good. That is not good. Come on. Come on. Keep it on the black stuff. Wills. Oh, he's diving with the track limits again. Right on the ragged edge. Beautiful car control. Look at that for an apex. Oh, and then he's off into the grass. Look, they're not listening to me. They're just not learning. Come on, Coach Mitchell's out today. All I want you to do is keep it on the black stuff, stay out the gravel and the grass, and you'll be fine. But no, they can't. And now Ollie is right on the back of Wills Racing. Wills had this absolutely made. He's put a wheel into the grass, it's slowed him up, and now Ollie can smell a win. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Right, we're on lap 5 of 6, coming down the back end of the track. So we're just going into the final technical section before we go up the hill to start the final lap. And at the moment, there's nothing between them as Wheels Racing showering the track with more gravel as he puts another 2 wheels in. So, you know, they're still not listening. They're still pushing it. And he's in the gravel again. More gravel. Wheels Racing, I think he's, well, I don't know. If you were racing on ice, I would say that maybe picking up the gravel maybe will give you a bit more grip. But we're not on ice. We're on slick tyres. You don't need the gravel, mate. Stay out of it. Keep pushing. Come on. 0.3. Ollie's right there. He can really smell a win here. Absolutely smell a win. Gamer Dan just a little bit off. He's 0.6 and 10 seconds ahead of Danny at the moment. So the real race on track. There is another race on track, but the main one is between Wheels and Ollie as they go up the top. A little bit further back, we've got Danny C, number 1 Pops and Stiggy. Look at these 3. Absolutely locked together. And a bit further back, we've got Borky and Greg White. So we've got battles all the way through, but up front it is Ollie that's going to go up the inside. Wheels Racing going around the outside. Ollie having to hold that really tight to make sure he does leave enough room on the outside. Can he get this done as we go through the latter part of the top section? Wheels Racing saying, no, I'm not having this. I'm going to be side by side down the hill, hard on the brakes. The front of the car's absolutely digging in. The tyres saying, crumbs, I can't slow the car down fast enough. How much tyre rubber are they leaving on the track as they bury the brake pedal, and these cars absolutely submarining? And then as they go through the corners, they're leaning on the springs, absolutely on the ragged edge. Ollie just ahead of Wheels now. Wheels did have the upper hand for a while, but as we come into the final stages, it is Ollie with the advantage. But as I'm saying that, Wheels just closing up. Come on, William. Come on, give us a grandstand finish, guys. Just at the last couple of corners. We got a nice little squiggle here. Then we got the really tight right-hander. This is a really tight braking zone here. You've got to get it slowed down in a straight line. Then get on the power as soon as you can. You can use the blue stuff, but don't go off. They're going to get a slipstream. Wheels is closing. 3.8, 3.6, 3.5, 3.4. But I think that Ollie is going to get it across the line. That is close as you like. Just under 0.3 of a second between those two. Gamer Dan's going to come across the line to take third. And then Stiggy and Outlaw, number 1 Pops, really close together. Number 1 just 0.197 as we go over the line. It's dropping. It's going to be nearly 0.1. Oh, it's less than that. It's 0.091 on the line. Number 1 Pops couldn't quite get that done. Danny C is in clean air all on his own. He's going to come across the line in 6th. And then we've got another brilliant little race here. Greg White and Borky. Oh, Borky! Borky drops it on the line. Oh, no. He drops it on the line and Greg goes through. But what a race. I did tell you that we would have some cracking races tonight. I will remind you that, you know, less than, well, just on half an hour ago, the guys did not know what cars they were going to be running, what tracks they were going to be running. No prep, no nothing, just raw talent on show tonight. And we have just seen some of the best raw talent that PSR has to offer. And that was an absolute banger of a race. Oh, I enjoyed that. God, Gr.x saying, well done, Ollie, Will and Dan. Ollie, thanks, Dan. Well done, guys. The result, look at this. Ollie with a 141.408 in first. Wheels Racing in second with a 141.733. Just 0.3 of a second behind. Gamer Dan in third with a fastest lap of 141.248. He was 5.5 seconds back. We then got a bit of a gap back to Stiggy in fourth. And then Outlaw, number 1 Pops in 5th. But again, look at the difference in time there. Less than 1/10 of a second between those two guys. Danny C in 6th. And then Greg White and Borky 7th and 8th. But your top 3 for the first one, Ollie, Wills and Gamer Dan. Right, I need to get myself sorted out because I need to change the track. I would if I could get into my phone because I can't remember which track it is. It's Sardegna C reverse for this one. Bit weird that we got 2 Sardegnas, and I love Sardegna. I really wish that I was racing, and Sardegna C reverse is again one of my favourite tracks. I love this one. I love this layout. And it was completely random. I put every single track combination in there. Every track, every layout was in the randomizer. We then picked those, and we picked from all of the cars that were available in the used car dealership. So those are the ones we're running. In this one, it's going to be the BMW Z4. Expect fireworks in this one. This car around this track is phenomenal. It is phenomenal. It is going to be brilliant. The guys are going to need to cope with that massive bonnet that's got that enormous V6 in it. They're going to be sitting over the rear wheel arches. They're going to be able to feel every movement in the car. This is going to be great, this race. I'm predicting that we are going to have a very, very close one here, unless somebody is really good in this car and they are going to be able to run away. So it will be very, very, very interesting. Right, one of the things I do need to do, I think, is just want to check a couple of things here. Lots of admin going on tonight. So we've got Greg White, Danny C, Gamer Dan, Wheels, Ollie, Drat Fury, Stiggy, Jackie Boy, Borky, Number One, and Galacticor. And I think, yeah, Jackie Boy is a Jackie Boy's been around for a while, but he is a new one tonight. So I'm just going to pop him in there as somebody that's doing a taster. So good to see him racing. Rasterick, good evening, good evening, good evening. We've got 12, well, we haven't got 12 races because I'm not racing. So we've got 11 races in this one at the moment. I'm just going to say hello to Jackie. Ooh. Right, let's pop that one in there. That Fury wishes it was A. Everything was down to luck tonight. Absolutely everything. Those of you that were online with me at 9 o'clock this evening will have seen that it was completely random. Not only was it random, but I even had somebody called out the number. I think it was Gamer Dan pulled out the number. So I span the randomizer that number of times. We did wind up with two cars that were the same, and I wanted to have different cars. So I did run it an additional time, 8 times I think it was. But you saw how everything was ticking over. Completely transparent. Absolutely nothing to do with me. It is Google Sheets that decided this one. Greg White, Danny C, Gamer Dan, Wheels Racing, Ollie, Drat Fury, Jackie Boy Borky, Number One, Galactical, Stiggy, all in the correct car. Let's get this one underway. So we're going to start the qualifying. And of course, I can always run that randomizer again at the end of the night if we feel that we want to continue to do them. But I do need to finish at 11 o'clock, so we'll see. And we've also got a painful race. Oh, we've got the Arbarth around Le Mans. That, my friends, is all down to my mate Gamer Dan. My mate Gamer Dan yesterday, he said, oh, let's do the Arbarth around, I can't remember where it was now. I can't remember where he said, around Stage X. Arbarth around Stage X. And I laughed, so I was thinking that would be horrendous. So what's Google decided to do? Almost one better. Arbarth around Le Mans. Oh my word. Arbarth around Le Mans. But it's going to be interesting because there's going to be the technical section and then you've got the drafting section. So I think it could get quite interesting, that race. I'm not writing that off as a bad race. I think it could be very, very, very interesting. Ollie, Mate, I think you need to get that car in the back in into the pits. I think you've got a broken bearing or maybe a half shaft or something, because the back end of that car is wobbling around all over the place, mate. It definitely doesn't look good. Oh, Danny C's doesn't look too good either. He's parked up in the gravel. Yeah, Ollie with a big old wobble on the back end there. I don't know if he's got a wheel that's not been fitted or something, or maybe he's got a tyre. Maybe it's just a puncture. I don't know. It seems to have sorted itself out now. But maybe it's just the nut behind the wheel. I think it might actually just be the nut behind the wheel. Probably. So we got Gamer Dan is in a livery. Dan has... Do you know what? I said I was going to let everybody know. Dan, bless his heart, he went and bought every single car. He's got every car in the game. He went to the used car dealership. He went and bought every single car again, so it was all stock, and then put a livery on every single car for tonight. That is a guy that was really looking forward to this tonight. If ever I saw anybody well up for it, I'm hoping he's going to be able to last the night. And if he needs to disappear, I know that he will. But loving the livery. So he's in the monster livery at the moment. Most of his cars have got the monster livery. Rather than the silver and green, this one's more of a black and green on this one. And he does set the fastest time of 1:03.575. And as I say that, Ollie goes with a 1:02.524. So some 1 second faster to push Gamer Dan down into second. So Ollie in the silver car going very, very, very well. Maybe Dan is losing out with all of the decals on his car with the extra weight, whereas Ollie looks like he's taken his in for a detail. It looks very nicely polished and going really well now. Wheels Racing, he's got a livery on his car. He's got the Crown Platzer livery on his car, the BMW Crown Platzer livery, so he'll be one to watch, and was going really well in the last one until had a bit of a wobble. So let's see how he can go in this one. Number one pops in very unusual colour scheme. Look at that. We've got a very, very dark sort of khaki green with bright red head restraints. They stick out greatly, and a gold helmet. Stiggy is in a white car. Front of that car submarining under braking. Oh, look at that white car, white helmet, white overalls, completely in sync is our Stiggy. He's going nicely. Number one we saw Borky. Borky's in the silver car as well. Got that nicely under control through that corner, looking nice through there. Danny C. Danny C is in a white one. Drak Fury, we can see just in front, is in the pale blue. Then we've got Galacticors in silver. Jackie Boy joining us. He's in this sort of it's like a beigey colour. That's actually quite a nice colour, that. I like that colour. I like that very much, actually. I wasn't sure at first, but I like that now. Yeah. Galacticor and Gr.x in a white car with blue overalls and a blue and red helmet. Okay, whatever floats your boat. Okay, so where are we? Greg's on an outlap. Ollie at the moment has set a 1:02.524 and the fastest lap. Gamer Dan is chasing that time at the moment. He's just coming down towards the bottom of the track to get through this little section, and then we're going to be going up the hill again. This is very, very, very important, this little corner here. You need to get it straightened up on the brakes, otherwise some people can very easily find themselves into the gravel, and then you want to get in the power down using that blue Astro on the right hand side there to try and reduce your time as much as possible. He's hugging the curb there at the edge of the track to see if he can get a quicker time. He was a 1:03.039 and he's still a 1:03.039. And Wheels Racing is just a little bit further back with a 1:03.685 and Stiggy with a 1:03.752. So very, very, very close. Very close. But Ollie at the moment does seem to have the advantage in the BMW. He's going well in that car. So he's favourite at the moment by half a second. Gamer Dan is half a second ahead of Wheels, and then not a lot between Wheels and Stiggy, just 0.067, and then 0.058 between Stiggy and Dan, so really close there. And then from Dan to Jackie Boy, it's only 0.06 as well. So these guys in the midfield, super close, super close. I mean, just look at this. Look at this. I mean, forget the ones at the front at the moment, but when you get down here, you've got Stiggy with a 3752, Danny 3810, Jackie Boy 3878, Greg White a 4041, number one Pops a 4049. Really close from basically third down to eighth. This one could go any which way that you like. So let's just go through the running order very quickly. Ollie is going to be leading us away with Gamer Dan on the front of the grid in second. They're followed up by Wheels Racing and Stiggy on the second row. Third row is Danny C, Jackie Boy. Behind them, Greg White and number one Pops. Behind them, Drat Fury and Borky with Galacticor in 11th for this one. Let's get this one underway and we'll see how this goes. So brilliant little car, this one, around a little circuit. So it's going to be a fairly short race. But for me, I think this is going to be one of the highlight races of the night. So I'm just going to spectate. I'm not going to harp and labour on the point, but I'm not racing tonight because I am resting. I've had a little bit of pain in my head today, and it's a bit of a reminder that I still need to rest and mend. So for the moment, I am just enjoying these races and commentating. We have 5 lights and racing at Sardegna C. So we're going to be going up the hill off of the grid for the hairpin to come all the way down the hill through the twiddly bit. You then got to thread it through the wall up to the fast right-hander, and then you've got that incredibly difficult braking zone into the final corner to go up the hill. It's a very straightforward track, this one. Plenty of opportunity for slipstream and overtaking. Plenty of opportunity for getting it wrong into the gravel, into the wall, especially up here. Very easy to put yourself into the wall on the exit of this curb and into the gravel. This can often be a decider. Just there, you can see Wheels, and there's somebody else just getting off into the gravel there and coming all the way across the track. Thankfully didn't collect with anybody, but I don't know who that was. One of the white cars into the gravel. As I was saying, that it is one of the catch points, and it can be an absolute game changer. But at the moment, as we're going to come across to finish this lap, it shows just how fast this race is going to be. Ollie is 1 second ahead and he's on a charge. Gamer Dan and Wheels Racing locked together. There's only 0.2 between those guys. Now the big question will be, will Wheels and Gamer Dan work together to try and get on the back of Ollie and then make a move on the final lap, or are they going to battle? Behind, we have got Greg White, Stiggy and number one locked in a gargantuan battle side by side through here. Shouldn't be able to do that, guys. Oh, this is gonna be tight. That they got through there without crashing. Drat Fury's in the mix as well. He's turned it into a foursome. How on earth did they do that? How nobody is in the wall, gravel, facing the wrong way of those 4 guys, I do not know. And out of that, oh no, we do get one into the gravel. I don't know who that one was. And we've got Greg White right on the back of Drat Fury. We've got more gravel being thrown up. So again, the gravel is affecting this race quite a fair bit. But it's number one Pumps, Drat Fury and Greg White very close at the moment. 0.3 between each of those cars. Out front, it is Ollie, who's 1.3 ahead of Gamer Dan. Has anybody got an answer for Ollie in this one, or is Ollie just going to keep this one clinically clean, picking up the apexes, threading it through the walls, keeping it out of the gravel and off the grass, or is there going to be a rare mistake and it all closes up? You can see Dan is really on it. He's using all of the tracker more on that exit to try and get the power down quickly and try and close that gap, but it is actually it was pretty much even Stevens. It was about 1.4, 1.5. It's now down to 1.398. So Dan taking tenths out, but halfway around this one, we need to be taking more than sort of tenths and hundredths of a second. But I know Dan, he's going to be absolutely going for it. Wills is 1.2 behind now. So we basically got 1.2 between first and second and third. We got 3.3 back to number one Pops. But number one Pops has got Drat Fury, Greg White, and Borky, I think, is in the mix on this one as well. These guys really close together. This is where the action is. I think I'm going to stick with this one for the moment. There are little battles that are going on all the way through. But this is incredible with these guys that are threading the needle and no room for error, locked together. Drat Fury with a big old slide there, but he's got on the power quickly. And oh no, it was Greg White with the slide, got on the power quickly. I apologise, it was Greg White with the slide, got on the power quickly, got a slingshot and got around Drat Fury. So Greg White, Drat Fury and Borky just on the back bumper of Drat Fury there as well. So Borky just trying to have a little look up the inside. I don't think he quite get that done. But I think Danny C has got a nice run on Borky. And I think he's going to make a move into the big hairpin at the top. But who knows how these guys are going to come out. Greg White, really slowing it down, almost stopping on the apex there. Drat Fury into the grass, and Borky does stay ahead of Danny C for the moment. Really close in this midsection. Out front is Ollie by 1.6 and Gamer Dan 4.8 ahead of Wills. And this little group is catching Wills at the moment. So Greg is really on it. You can see that car really leaning over on the suspension through that corner, throwing up the gravel as Greg is trying to close up on Wills. He's 1 second behind Wills. Wills will be able to see that. He'll see the delta time coming down. He's going to see that white Z4 in his mirrors. And he's going to know that there is no performance benefit between cars. It's all about the racing drivers in this one. Their skills, their daring, their professionalism. And the daring. How much do they risk on some of these corners? I mean, talking about that, look at this. You've got Drat Fury, Danny and Borky still locked together. You've got Drat Fury and Danny C side by side through there. Danny holding it really tight on the inside of the corner to make sure that Drat Fury had room on the outside. Drat Fury did manage to keep the place. And Danny obviously having to take the slightly tighter line. But then he's got to get on the power quickly because he's got Borky on his back bumper as well. Danny C, the back end of that car all over the place. Oh, Drat Fury with a power slide through there. That was almost a drift, and that's given Danny C the place. I think Danny C had been watching and seeing where Drat Fury was getting the back end of the car a little bit loose, and I think he's just punished Drat Fury through that corner. It looks like Borky's been watching as well. Or Borky and Drat Fury just got into each other there a little bit, but Borky backed out of that to let Drat Fury come through. So Ollie is going to come across the line first by some 5 seconds. Gamer Dan 3.5 ahead of Greg White. Greg just 0.089 ahead of Wills. I can't keep up because the rest are all coming across the line so fast together. But Ollie in an absolute class of his own in the Z4 around this track. Unfortunately, Dan didn't have any answer for that, and Greg White was trying to recover. He was really coming through the pack well, but it was a little bit too late. These little fast sprints, you've really got to get on it and stay with the leading pack and make sure that you don't make mistakes. It's difficult to drop back and then try and come through unless you can be really on it. And when you've got a couple of guys up front that are on it, very, very difficult. And we've got Gamer Dan just saying to Wally, 1 fastest lap each. They're watching the fastest laps as well. I'm loving this. Oh, number 1 Pops, my car kept going into neutral. That's not going to help. Crash is saying, Ollie's like an alien tonight. Well, we shall see. We've got some strategy races coming up in a moment. Ollie was your winner with a 102.486, the only one in the 102 in a class of his own. Gamer Dan in second with a 103.045. Greg White in third with a 103.126. followed up by Wills in 4th, Danny C in 5th, Jack Fury 6th, Porky 7th, and number 1 Pops in 8th, Stiggy 9th, Jackie Boy in 10th, and Galacticor in 11th. We didn't really see too much of those guys at the back. I apologise for that, but there was just so much action going on in the midfield. That was what I wanted to watch. Ollie, Dan, and Gr.x are your top 3. Right, I need to check my phone again to see where we are off to for this one. And this is going to be Maggiore East for this one. So Maggiore East. Good track, this one. So we'll change the settings. And we're going to be in the Renault Aventime 3 litre V6 24 valve car for this one. So again, this could be another really good combo that's been thrown out. And we will see. The next one is going to be the interesting one, because this is the one where everybody's going to disappear after this, because we're in the Arbarth, the A112 Arbarth, around Le Mans with no chicane. So down the Mulsanne straight, they are literally going to be working together for the whole of the straight. No chicanes right the way through. We're into MPV territory, guys. We're in the MP3, the multi-purpose vehicle around here. This is going to be very, very interesting. Oh, I'm loving the some of the liveries on here. We've got Gamer Dan, Drat Fury, Jackie Boy, all with spoilers. I do wonder whether we're going to get a few people jumping out and sticking some liveries and spoilers on the cars. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give people a few minutes on this one. I'm going to start the qualifier at 2200, because I have a funny feeling that a few guys are going to want to disappear and grab a livery and stick a wing on their vehicles. Boppy's on. Number 1 Pops is just saying, be right back. I have a very funny feeling that 1 or 2 of these guys could disappear. Gr.x, Danny C, Wills, Ollie, Stiggy. They've all got bulk standard cars. And then you'll see Jackie Boy, Drat Fury, Gamer Dan. They've all got wings on. Borky is in a regular vehicle as well at the moment. You guys, you've got 6 minutes to get a wing if you want it. So I'm just going to go... 5 mins. If you want a wing. Wing, spoiler, all the same thing. Danny C says, does it even make a difference? I don't know. Looks good though, doesn't it? I don't know. I don't know, because Bop is on. Event settings. If we just come down into here, you can see that the Bop is on. So whether it does make a difference or not, I don't know. Is the short answer. But look, that is the difference. That is a car, van, MPV, whatever you want to call it, with a kit on it. That's Gamer Dan's. And then this is Gr.x in a standard vehicle. Obviously, I guess we're not going to get any lap times at the moment. Well, we can have a little look. So Dan is on a 139. Well, those are out times. Let's see what time these two get. Gr.x and Gamer Dan, we shall see. Jack Fury says, yes, it does make a difference. The fun goes up. They certainly look good. They do certainly look good. You've got 4 minutes, guys, if you do want to get a livery and a wing on your vehicles. So where are we? Gamer Dan hasn't quite set his time yet. And Greg is a little bit further back at the moment. So Dan is just going to come through the... it's not quite a hairpin, but almost a hairpin. And then he's going to come down the hill across the line. Again, this is a track that we don't do very often. So Dan has set a 103. Oh, with a red. So I don't know if he's got a penalty there. But Oh no, 142. That was a bit weird. It said 103 and then a 142. I'm a bit confused, but there we go. Gamer Dan a 142 and Gr.x a 141. So 1.2 seconds. So arguably, unless Dan made a mistake, no, the body kit doesn't make a difference. Or maybe it's heavier and it is going to make a difference. Shall we have a little look and see? There we go. Look, we're all on 204 horsepower. The PP is fairly identical. Dan's is slightly lower. In fact, those with the kit on, I've got a slightly lower PP. The weight is the same. So I don't think it's really going to make an awful lot of difference. I really don't think it's going to make any difference in this one. It's just going to be another cracking one, I think. So where are we? We've got 3 minutes before we start this one. Just giving people a few moments just in case they do want to change their cars. It looks like a lot of people are actually quite happy just to run with the cars they've got. So maybe I didn't need to wait quite so long. But certainly a vehicle that we don't run very often. All of these vehicles, by the way, tonight, guys, they are all from the used car dealership. All of these are from the used car dealership, and everything was randomized tonight. We did a list of all of the cars in the used car dealership. We did a list of all of the tracks with all of the different permutations, and we put it into a Google Sheets spreadsheet, randomized everything out. It generated 5 random combos, and those are what we're running. And none of the guys that are racing tonight knew what the combo would be until 9 o'clock this evening. So 0 time for the guys to get used to the cars, to know which tracks. So this really is a test of the racers' skills in this one, how good they are at just diving into an unusual vehicle on an unusual track and learning the braking points, the turning points, the gears, etc., to get the best out of the various and very, very different vehicles that we have tonight, and a nice little mix of cars too. Right, where are we? We're 21:59, so we're going to be going racing in just a moment. We've got 12 runners. We've got Gr.x, Danny C, Gamer Dan, Wills, Ollie, Drat Fury, Jackie Boy, Borky, Number One, Galactical, and Stiggy. 11 runners, and I'm still running the qualifier at the moment. We might ditch the qualifier, but we will for the next one. I'm going to go straight into the Le Mans one off the bat, and we'll let the game decide on the grid order for that one, and just for time purposes. But let's get this one underway now. So we're going to start the qualifying, and we'll see what these guys can do. Number One Pop says, let me know if my splitter goes on fire. Clarkson fitted it. Okay, we will find out. We will find out. So who's that? Number One Pops. It does look like a little bit of a Clarkson car, that. Typical Top Gear, that looks like. Let's just get some replay options up, and we'll go and jump on board with Number One. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? I've lost him. Here we go. He's just coming out the pits. That really does look. It's made of wood. It's a proper Jeremy Clarkson Top Gear boiler. Oh my word! That has put a smile on my face. That has. Number One Pops. You never fail. You never fail to put a smile on my face. That is so cool. I want to know what the rear spoiler's made out of now. The front one's made of plywood. Oh my gosh. So the question is then, if we've got, if Number One Pops has been taking a lesson out of Jeremy Clarkson's rulebook, what has he done to the other racers in this? Has he wired their radios up to the horns? Are we going to be hearing a load of horns? Are we going to get Genesis blaring away out of the cars on some that we go around? I wonder if somebody's had their air conditioning has been scuppered, and it's a lovely bright sunny day here at Maggiore. Has he wired up somebody's heater so that it's going to be belting out heat fully all the way through the race? You know the tricks that the boys used to get up to. I wonder if number one has been out there going up and down the pit lane before this race, just sabotaging some of the cars. Well, I wonder if he's just sabotaged Ollie's car, because Ollie has just decided to do a nodding dog and absolutely stop on the straight there. So you know, maybe as Ollie's changing gear, the brakes are kicking in. The other thing is to watch the lights. You know, sometimes when they hit the brakes, it will be flashing the lights at the car behind. We could be getting a lot of flashing lights. We could be getting a lot of Genesis playing. We could get a lot of horn playing. We could get all sorts. But is number one Pops' spoiler going to stay on, or is it going to burst into flames halfway round? We will see. If there's smoke and flames and fire, we'll know what it is. We'll know that number one Pops' front spoiler is bursting into flames. At the moment, it's looking good, and he's going okay. Galactical just staying out of the way of number one Pops there, because he doesn't want to get into difficulties with that spoiler. Galactical with a fresh clean. Oh no, he's not a fresh clean car. He's got a spoiler on the front of that one, but that does look like it is a regular spoiler on that car, which is good. And yeah, well, we'll see how we go here. We are into quali at the moment, I believe. Losing the will to live again. My memory's shot at the moment. I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. I think we're into quali. I think I've started it. If we haven't, somebody shout at me if I haven't, because I'm getting myself carried away. And if we are, then it's Gamer Dan out on track first with Danny C trying to pick up a slipstream, and then Gr.x just behind. These are the three cars that we can see on track at the moment. And quite a long lap, this one. 1.5 minutes this one in this particular car. So I do wonder whether slipstream is going to come into play in this. But again, already it's starting to look really close up the front. Gr.x and Gamer Dan are split by 0.116 of a second, and then Danny C is less than a second behind as well. Number one Pops is only just over well, 1.3 seconds off the leader. Drat Fury 1.4, Jackie Boy 2, Stiggy 2.5. So it's, you know, there's not a lot of time between these guys, and up front, as I said, really tight to see who is going to be leading us away on pole. Gr.x with a 147.69 at the moment. Nobody's broken into the 139s yet. The fuel will be burning off, but not very quickly. There will be some tyre wear, but again, not a lot of tyre wear. We're on the sport soft tyres because we are obviously in a road car, and there shouldn't be any tyre wear issues or fuel. So these guys will be trying to push the tyres as much as they can and burning off the fuel as much as they can. We've got a bit of a heat haze as we watch Gamer Dan being chased by Danny C, and Gr.x in the background with a half-second penalty. Gr.x obviously pushing the track limits to try and reduce that lap time down even further, but he is holding on to fastest lap at this precise moment in time. Gamer Dan flashing his lights, bibbing his horn, or has he been scuppered by Jeremy Clarkson maybe, or is he just we got lights, horns, everything going in this one. If there is, we know who to blame. It's number one Pops. He's been down the pit lane, he's done a Clarkson, and he's sabotaged a lot of the cars, I think. And is he still running? Has he still got that? I've lost him for the moment. Number one Pops has just banged in a fastest lap. A 140.598, just 0.171 ahead. The DIY wooden spoiler car, the one that he took to Jeremy Clarkson to be fixed up, has just put it on pole. Where did that come from? Gamer Dan, look at him, he's gone Pops. He can't believe it. Number one Pops can smell spurning. He can smell burning, because not only is his spoiler on fire, his performance is on fire. Look at that. I can't... Where did that come from? Where did that come from? He's got a DIY makeshift spoiler straight out of the backstreet garage of Jeremy Clarkson, and he's gone and stuffed it on pole. Do you know what? I think that number one Pops just jumped out of that car. I don't think we're looking at number one Pops, guys. I think that we're looking at the Stig. You heard it here. I think that number one Pops has done a top gear. He's done a Captain Slow. He's collared the Stig. Stig is in number one Pops' blue car with the makeshift DIY wooden spoiler. What can the Stig do? Can Gr.x and Gamer Dan, Wheels Racing and Ollie behind do anything to chase down the Stig? Now, it isn't the regular Stig. It's not in white overalls, so it must be the Maggior relative Stig. But as you can see, he's going well. He's already 1 point... No, he's not. He's 0.1 in front, but he is out front. Gamer Dan looking up the inside. Gr.x hard on the back of number one Pops, but number one Pops holding it. Gamer Dan and Gr.x just getting into each other. A bit of paint swapping on the exit of that corner, and all of the cars very, very, very close together, as I had expected in this one. There's going to be a fair amount of slipstreaming, but then you've got to be very careful with these corners. We've got some nice long straights into some really, really complex, tight corners. We've got this lovely little wriggly bit that's coming up, the S's. Then we get the elongated chicane as we go down the hill into the hairpin at the bottom, and then we're going to go up the hill to start the new lap, and then into the technical section at the top to start all over again. So this track really does have a little bit of everything. Threading their way through here. Nobody being overly brave on the curbs. I often straddle that sausage there, but all of them taking it really, really easy and carefully through there. Gamer Dan having a look up the inside as we go through the hairpin. Can number one Pops keep his foot in and get that plywood spoiler to remain in the lead? He does. Oh, by 0.168. These guys are absolutely locked together. Do you know what? It's almost as if Gamer Dan has got a tow rope hooked up onto the back to number one Pops, and then likewise to Gr.x and to Danny C behind. But Gamer Dan just getting up the inside of number one Pops, but number one Pops will have the inside for this corner, so Gamer Dan is going to need to just tuck in behind, but look how close it is. So we've got Gamer Dan with a professional livery and body kit on there. He took that off to Renault to have that done, and number one Pops, well, doesn't quite have the budget that Gamer Dan has got. He's got a DIY job, but what a DIY job it is. Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear, heat your heart out, mate, because you have built yourself a little rocket ship in the hands of Stig. Oh, hang on a second. Hot news. Hot news. It isn't Stig in number one Pops' car. Stiggy has just jumped up as number one Pops gets a half-second penalty. He said if I was driving that car, I wouldn't have got a half-second penalty. He is Pops in that lead vehicle. And as I say that, Gamer Dan hits the front. Number one Pops with a little rare mistake. He's got a half-second penalty, but he regains the lead into the hairpin. What a move. Can he keep it on the exit, or can Gamer Dan get underneath? Oh, number one Pops, you could see the front of that car just nodding there, like a nodding dog, as he took the penalty. That has promoted Gamer Dan into first. He's 0.3 ahead of Gr.x, who's 0.7 ahead of number one. So number one Pops losing the best part of a second for that half-second penalty. Now, is that DIY plywood spoiler going to help number one Pops to get back into this? Is he going to catch light and he's going to lose the weight and enable him to catch up? Or are the little chasing pack behind him going to cause him some issues? We've got Danny C, Ollie and Wills right on the back of number one Pops. Nothing between these four. We've got a little battle as well behind with Stiggy and I think, is that... I'm losing this at the moment. there's races all over the place. It's hard to keep up, very hard to keep up. At the moment, it's Gamer Dan out front by a little bit with Gr.x following, but the on-track action at the moment, there's action everywhere, but it's these three cars here. Danny C, number one, and Ollie. Number one just struggling a little bit through this mid part of the race. We're on lap 3 of 6 as we're going to head down the hill into the hairpin to start lap number 4 and the second half of the race. And number one Pops has gone from 1st to 5th here. Stiggy just letting him know that it wasn't the Stig that was racing. I think he's cheering him on from the pits. I'm hearing that Jeremy Clarkson, Hammond and Captain Slow are absolutely jumping up and down, pinging off the walls in excitement, willing on their teammate number one Pops. And is it going to play out? And is number one going to be able to get back into this? Ollie and Dan C absolutely side by side. Number one Pops can see that. Number one Pops is right in the mix here. I think there could be a place or two if he can get onto the power quickly. Although he's on the outside of Ollie through here, but he's going to be on the inside for the right-hander. Oh, number one Pops does just have to tuck in behind Ollie. Dan C, Ollie, number one, and Wills absolutely locked together. Ollie getting a rare mistake, getting right out on the edge of the track there. He did manage to join safely just in front of number one. I thought he was going to take number one's nose off there, but didn't quite happen. I think it was Ollie off anyway. It could have been Danny C. They've got the same colour car, but we'll see. They're all going wide through that corner to get as much speed as they can going down this down the hill into the S's. They're still keeping it neat and tidy over the curbs. We could just see the two cars out front, and then you've got this train absolutely together. It's Danny C, Ollie, number one, and Wills absolutely locked together there just off the backdrap. Fury and Jackie Boy out front. It is Gamer Dan just having a look up the inside of Gr.x. I think Dan has just got that done. He's on the inside of the curb there. That did unsettle the car. Gr.x with the better exit, I think, as we go up the hill to start a new lap. I think they're going to be side by side. It's 0.92, 0.8, 0.1. 0.08 I meant. It's now 0.1, and Gamer Dan just managing to retain the lead there as we go into the top section of the track. Very technical, fast, slow, long, slip, everything in this one. But behind, we'll just review where we are. We got Danny C is just ahead of Ollie. Number one Pops just off the back in 5th, and Wills really pushing hard in 6th. It's exhilarating watching these four racing together. I don't know if Ollie and Danny can bump to get on the back of Greg and Dan. They are just a little bit of a way down the track at the moment. We're on the second half of lap number 5, and there'll be one more to run after this. You can see, I've only just noticed, number one Pops, and we're on board with him. Look at the rear window. Have you seen the names in the window? I didn't even notice that. I've been talking about Top Gear, Hammond, Clarkson and May. Blow me down. He's actually got Hammond, Clarkson and May's names in the rear view mirror on this. It is Team Top Gear. Look at this. Look. Oh, we're a bit too far away to see. I'm just going to stay on board with him to see. Oh, that's made my night, that has. That is so cool. We do have Top Gear here. Look at this. Clarkson, Hammond and May. Who is in the car? Is it number one Pops? Or is it one of the Top Gear guys? We know it isn't the Stig because he's told us in the pits when number one got the penalty. Well, I don't think it's Captain Slow because he's really in the mix. And, well, Clarkson is all about power and speed, but he has got a Clarkson front bumper, front splitter on that. Front spoiler. Who's in the car? Number one Pops, we need to know at the end of this race. Who is racing in HY02 EZX? The blue Renault that we're sitting on here with the DIY front spoiler. We need to know who is racing that. But out front, it is Gamer Dan now with 1 full second ahead of Gr.x. So Dan just managing to gap Greg at the moment for what will probably be the win. I can't see Greg closing up on the last part of this race. We're going to be going through the S's, so anything could happen. We could be into penalties. Just behind, we've got Ollie all over the back of Danny C still. These two have been locked together all the way through this race. I don't know whether Ollie is just biding his time and watching to see where Danny is quick and slow and whether he can make a move. He's going for a move around the outside. Couldn't quite get that done. Can he get underneath? No, he can't. He's gone to the left. He's left, he's right, he's left, he's right. He doesn't quite know where to put the car. He's gone for the inside. No, he's gone around the outside. Danny C's got the inside. Ollie looking for the switch back. Can he get that done? Up front, it is Gamer Dan that is going to come across the line, but you can see just in the back that Ollie's got a brilliant run on Danny C. It's going to be Gamer Dan that comes across the line, Greg White, and then it is going to be Danny C from Ollie. Nothing between those two guys. Wheels Racing, and then Drak Fury's going to come across the line. Stiggy and 8, we will pick up the action and see where number one pops. I need to know, number one pops, who was in your car? Was it you? The Stiggy's ruled himself out. Was it Hammond, May, or Clarkson? I really need to know. Really, really, really need to know. What a race that was. What a race. And I think that the DIY spoiler, it lasted the race. It didn't burst into flames, which is good news. So all credit to Jeremy Clarkson for building a very wonderful, sustainable structure on the front. None of this carbon fiber expensive stuff. He went down to B&Q, grabbed a sheet of ply and stuck that spoiler on the front. Love it. Love it. Ollie says, so hard to make a move in these cars. Technical. Very technical. Your winners and the losers this one. Gamer Dan in first place with a 140.418. Greg White with the fastest lap, a 140.213 in second. And Danny C with a fine third to finish the podium with a 140.429. Ollie all over the back of him all the way through there, just on the back bumper. Couldn't quite get the move done as hard as he tried for fourth. Number one pops with the whole of the Top Gear budget behind him, all of £25.63 in fifth. Wheels Racing in sixth, Drak Fury seventh, Stiggy eighth, Borky ninth, Jackie Boy 10th, and Galactical in 11th. Unfortunately, we're not really seeing much of the guys at the back because the entertainment in the midsection in these races tonight, phenomenal. Gamer Dan, Greg White, and Danny C, your 1, 2, and your 3. Right, I believe that we are now off to craziness. Let me just do a quick check here to make sure I've got this right. Bring the phone up. We are at Le Mans. Oh my gosh. Right, okay, I need to change a few things here. No chicane on this one. I'm going to put this down to 2 laps, and we're not going to go with a qualifier. We'll change the settings. So 2 laps, not the full complement on this one. Gamer Dan says, Need for Speed race this one. It is going to be a Need for Speed, and you're going to have to work together to get that speed. This is not going to... my prediction here is not going to be getting out front and running away. This is going to be teaming up with somebody to work together for the win. This is going to be slow and strategic, especially down the Mulsanne straight. We could see 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 cars together going down that Mulsanne straight. We really could. Oh, we got Scott Jeggers in. Another old name from us. Let me just put him in here. KZN hyphen Scott CECHE GGAZ. Scott used to run with us a while ago. He's joined us tonight for some fun and games. And I'm just going to say a very, very quick hello to him. Where are we? We'll do a... Oh, I've messed that up. Let's try that again. Let's just do a hello. Hello, mate. Great to see you again. And please consider joining us tonight. I want to do this PSR to race again. But please stay tonight. So yeah, going to be very, very easy. Very, very interesting. Hello, John. He says, evening, Mitch. Farronell, good evening. Love, mate. Yes. Arbarth in Le Mans. How long is this race going to take? 2 hours. I'm hoping not. I'm not. Ollie says, when are we starting us? I need to go grab a drink. Go grab one now. Drat Fury's shouting for boost. I'm not going to do boost. I want to see how people work together. I'm being mean. I'm being really, really mean tonight. And I'm going to start this race. Is going to be starting at 25 past. So you've got a couple of minutes, Ollie, to go grab yourself a drink. Oh, we've lost Scott. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah. Going to be very, very, very interesting, this one, to see how they go together. Obviously, boost would have enabled people at the back to catch up. But what I want to see in this is I want to see people working together. I want to see those that have got the strategy and the intelligence to get to the front and stay at the front and work together, rather than relying on boost to catch up. So forgive me, Drac. No, I'm declining the offer at the moment. John's just gone to get the car, and he will be back. I think John is Scott Cheggers. I think, not 100% sure. So many different names to try and keep up with everybody these days, and I don't always get it right. But we'll wait just a moment for him to come back. And I'm just updating my spreadsheet with the people that joined us tonight, and thank you for that. We've got Greg White, Danny C, Gamer Dan, Wills Racing, Ollie, Drat Fury, Borky, Number One, and Stiggy, that are all regulars. And then we've got Jackie Boy and hopefully Scott Cheggers, who's going to come back and join us in a moment. Scott used to race with us. There we go. John Bourne, I thought it was. Used to race with us ages ago. Not seen you for a long time, my friend. And very, very good racer. And good to see you back. Ollie is back. So we are going to be getting this one underway in just a moment. I will wait for Scott to come back. He's just gone off to buy the car. And this one's going to be painful. I don't know how long a lap time in this is going to be. Yeah, we're normally looking at sort of 4-minute laps. I think we could be looking to a 6 to 8 minute lap. So we could be on for a 15-minute race here. And it's all going to be, I think, strategy. I think it's all going to be strategy, this one. We will see. So, A12 Arbarth is the car that people are running. Hopefully this is Scott just joining, and then we will be able to go racing. Galactical has just joined. And I'm just waiting for Scott. I'm assuming Scott's on his way. It's the A12. No, don't do that. Okay, it's A12. The Arbarth A12 is what we're looking for. So we'll just give him a moment or two to just grab the car, and then we'll get going. We have got another one after this. We've got another one after this. So the one after this is going to be the Subaru Impreza Coupe Gr.x Type R STI version 6, the 99 model at Blue Moon Bay full course. That is going to be a great race to finish up on. It will be an absolute brilliant race, that one. Okay, John's just on his way. So as soon as he's in, that is going to give us 12 runners. We're going to have Greg White, Danny C, Gamer Dan, Wills, Ollie, Drat Fury, Jackie Boy, Borky, Number One Pops, Galactical, Stiggy. There is no qualifier in this one because it's such a long lap. We will be here all night if I did the qualifier. So we have done away with the qualifier. I did say that Scott was quick. Look, he's an A+ ranked racer now. So Ollie, Greg, Dan, Wills, you guys up the front, you've got your work cut out. You've got another racer in the mix. So Gamer Dan says outlook almost 6 minutes. So we're looking for a 12-minute race. So two laps was about right for this one. And again, it's all going to be about strategy. Who is going to work together and who is going to try and make a bid for freedom? Who is going to crash and be left running around at the back? Who knows? We're just waiting for Scott to jump in. And we'll see how we go. Come on, Scott. I need you in a car. Tick in, my friend. Probably buying tyres and stuff, I would imagine. John's just saying he's been away for a year or two and he's lost a lot of speed. I tell you what, you've lost a lot of speed choosing the car. Come on, tick in, my friend. Please tick in. Please tick in. A lot's changed around here, my friend. See, as soon as I say that, they tick in. It's always the same. It's always the same. Right, let's get this one underway. So we've got Scott Cheggers, Danny C, Gamer Dan, Wheels Racing, Ollie, Drak Fury, Jackie Boy, Borky, Number One Pops, Galactical, and Stiggy. Let's get this one underway. I'm looking forward to this one. This is going to be really, really, really interesting to watch. You can see we've got a couple of A+, we've got 4 A's, we've got 3 B's, a couple of C's and an E. It doesn't mean a thing. In this one, it really is not going to make the slightest bit of difference. Excuse me a second, I just need to get my back sorted. Let me just move my position around a little bit. Ollie, yeah, we need 11 people to subscribe. We're away at Le Mans in the sunshine. One of the things I didn't do is I didn't put on a load of wet weather. I could have done, couldn't I? We could have really mixed things up. I haven't done that. But at the moment, leading them away is Greg White, Scott Cheggers in second, Danny C in third, Gamer Dan fourth, and the rest following. I'm imagining it's going to be fairly steady as you go until we get to the Mulsanne Straight. And then it's going to be a case of who is going to slip and bump draft, who is going to slip and overtake, and of course, you know, who is going to get left at the back struggling. Well, I tell you what, that surprised me already is Greg has already got a 1.1 second lead over the guys behind. I don't quite understand how that has happened. These cars they're all bop, so they're all going to be the same. But Greg White has just got a monstrous start. Scott's got a great start too. He's 0.4, half a second ahead of Gamer Dan. But now as we enter the Mulsanne Straight, this is where it could all change. We've got Gamer Dan's lights flashing on Scott Cheggers. Scott's got his hazard lights on. This is basically saying, I'm going to bump you. Scott is saying, please get on the back of me and bump me. Let's work together. Again, Gamer Dan's flashing his lights, but Gamer Dan can't actually catch it. He is catching. He might actually catch him by the end of the straight. He's just not exactly catching quickly. Scott's wiggling his back bumper to say, come on, mate, catch me. Oh, Dan has got, he's got the slip now. He has got the slip. He closed up nicely there. So a little bit of a bump there. And you can see straight away that they're going through the first of the chicanes, how they're going to start closing up. So they are now closing up gradually on Greg. But this little group, I mean, Greg is 1.5 seconds out front, and this little group behind, there is nothing between them. They are all locked together. This is all about strategy, and we are effectively 3 wide here. Scott leading the way, but Stiggy on the inside as well. We've got people are teaming up here, which is what I thought was going to happen. We've got no boost on. This is pure teamwork. We've got a couple of guys that are falling away at the back, and it's going to be very difficult for them to get back into this one. And as you can see, Greg now has got swallowed up. Stiggy, and it's all changing. Greg White down to 5th now. So that early lead that Greg had, not having anybody to work with, it's all gone. As I thought it was going to happen, it's all gone. This is all about strategy, this race. And it could all be about strategy down the Mulsanne Straight. Are you going to be in the right place at the right time? Now, this is where you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure you don't go off, because if you go off, your game's over. You need to stick with the car in front, because you need to make sure that you can keep that slipstream benefit and working together. You want to stay away from track limits and penalties, and I think that somebody in the little mix there has got a penalty, because I mean, crikey, a penalty around here is going to result in a race losing situation. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see how that works. So with regards to penalties at the moment, number 1 Pops is out front, he's clean. Ollie's clean. Gamer Dan is okay. Greg White is okay. Danny C, it's Drat Fury, I think, that's got the penalty, and it looks like Stiggy might have a penalty as well there at the moment. So Drat Fury and Stiggy with penalties. Jackie Boy is fine. It's changing all the time. I can't keep up with the Wheels Racing, Borky. They're all in there together. We've got Galacticor and Borky off the back at the moment. They are struggling, 5 seconds off the back. But I mean, just look at this little gaggle of cars as we come into the technical section. Whoa, Gamer Dan going really, really wide there again. That's not something you want to be doing, because, as I said, that is a race defining moment if you do that. Look at that. Gamer Dan now down into 10th, and he's going to be struggling. I think he is just on the back of this lot, but Borky has got a run, so maybe Borky and Gamer Dan can work together to get back into this one. Galacticor just off the back. Hopefully he'll be able to pick up a slipstream, but Greg looking to hit the front as he takes a look up the inside of Ollie. He does get that move done. Look at these cars as they're weaving through here together. Loving the way the animation, just leaning the cars over on the suspension. They're not exactly race cars, but what a race this is. I'm beginning to wish I'd done 6 laps of this. I mean, they would have been absolutely tearing their hair out, the boys, but it would have been great for us watching. And Ollie and Greg White side by side. Danny C getting into the mix here too. Slipstream is everything. I mean, I think that, no disrespect to Drat Fury, but I think if we put Bop on, we would have wrecked this race, because it would have had everybody closed up. He didn't need it, because the real slipstream option that I do love is just bringing these cars together, and it is becoming man and machine rather than any artificial assistance. Oh, we've got penalties galore. Oh my word, we have got Danny C with a 2-second penalty. I don't know where that came from. Greg White with a ½ second. We've got Scott Cheggers with a 2. We've got Outlaw number 1 Pops with a ½ We've got Drat Fury with 1.5, Stiggy with a 1, Borky with 1 second, Galacticor with 1.5. These guys, they're going to be in trouble. The guys that are picking up the penalties are going to be in deep, deep trouble. They really do not want to be picking that up. They need to be working together. And I think that if Ollie can keep this on the black stuff, this could have just handed it to him, because if Danny C decides to work with Ollie and they try to get away, that's going to play into Ollie's hands. Now, Danny C and Greg White are going to need to work together with people, because, I mean, Danny C's got a massive 3-second penalty. That is going to manifest into probably 5 seconds, I would think, at the end of this, which is going to be race over. So he now needs to get gapped to the cars behind by some significant margin. We know that Greg White is quick, but is Greg going to work with Danny C? He's got a ½ second penalty as well. So, you know, he needs to make sure that he can get a good enough gap to the car behind. At the moment, it is 3 seconds, which, well, the way that the slipstream is running in this one, it's, I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know that ½ second is enough. So I think that they're going to need to work. You can see that Greg White is working as he now pulls out. He's going to be following through with Ollie. So those two guys are working together. They have managed to get in front of Ollie, but Ollie will now pick up a slipstream. Now, this again gets interesting now, because does Ollie work with these guys to push ahead, which will then mean that Danny C and Greg White will have a better advantage when they come to the penalty, that they might be able to still compete for a podium. Whereas Ollie can continue to try and build a gap to the cars behind and secure the win. He is flashing his lights, but he's falling behind. He's not in the slipstream. I think you need to be under half a second for slipstream. So Danny C and Greg White pulling away at the moment. And poor Ollie is in no man's land with number one Pops behind. He's 2.3 seconds behind. So number one Pops is not going to have a slipstream. But number one Pops does have Wheels Racing behind. And also Scott, who are needing to gap. And they are working together. So the field is spreading out a little bit. We've got some other battles that are going on. Gamer Dan has managed to recover up to 7th at the moment. He's got Jackie Boy right tight on his back bumper at the moment. They are working together as we come down towards the bottom of the Mulsanne Straight. This is only lap number 2 of 2, and they've got the technical section to work their way through. Up front, it is Danny and Greg. Greg with a half-second penalty, Danny with a 3. So I think Danny, unfortunately, is going to be well out of this at the moment. They're just not gapping the cars behind. Ollie is in touch. Ollie just one second behind, and actually he's got a great exit as Ollie. So he's closing up onto the 2 leaders. All Danny C can do is work with Greg and just hope that something happens. But he needs a small miracle in this one to be able to bring this off. The penalty's absolutely wrecking it. And Ollie, well, Ollie could be looking at a win here. He has got number one Pops and Wheels Racing and Scott Cheggers behind. They're fairly well placed as well. We've seen how the slipstream can work well. And don't write Gamer Dan off either. Gamer Dan's in 7th. It really depends on how they can get through these corners. Who is brave on the track limits? We've already seen that track limits are playing a big part in this, and really have robbed us of a great final few corners up front. But saying that, Ollie's bringing himself right into it. Look, as I said, that slipstream working well, as Ollie got a good enough exit out of there to get onto the back of Danny. Greg and Danny just pulling over to one side to serve their penalties. They are going to struggle now and potentially find themselves under threat from the cars behind. Greg White needs to get across behind Ollie as he does to pick up the slipstream. And Danny C, well, Danny with a massive penalty, and actually not quite as bad as I thought. He is falling back a little bit, but only 1.5 seconds behind. And Wills has now got a 1 second penalty. That's a bit unfortunate, but Danny not losing out quite as much as I thought he would. And he's 2 seconds behind. I don't know that he's going to be able to close up. The big question at the moment is, will Ollie and Greg keep it clean through the last few corners? And can Ollie stay ahead of Greg? Ollie been going really well tonight. But Greg got that enormous lead to start off with. It evaporated down the Mulsanne Straight. And now he's trying just to close in on Ollie. It's 0.62, 0.61, 0.60, 0.59. It is closing down 0.56, 0.55 as we go into the last couple of corners. How brave is Greg going to be on the brakes? How brave is Ollie going to be? Ollie's got his mirrors full. Greg White really got a beautiful balance on that car. He's going to be right on his back bumper. It might have been a quiet touch. Oh no, Greg White gets a 1 second penalty. It's 0.066 on the line, but Greg gets a penalty that has handed it to Ollie. Danny C in 3rd at the moment. Number one Pops 4th. Wills 5th. Gamer Dan 6th. Scott Cheggers 7th. Stiggy in 8th. Jackie Boy just going to come across the line in 9th, and then we'll pick up Drac Fury, who's in 10th, and then we've got Galactical and Borky just a little bit further behind. Again, the guys that couldn't keep up with the guys up front at the early part, they lost the slipstream and it all went away. But only 2 laps in a slow car around a track like that. Boy, oh boy. I thought that was going to be a bit of a difficult race. It actually turned out to be very exciting, very close. And unfortunately, it was track limits that ruined it. I think that was all about track limits in that one. Danak is actually saying that was actually a fun race. Stampy, good evening, my friend. He's saying congratulations. Obi-Wan, good evening as well. Good racing, boys. They're loving it. And Ollie, oh my God, Greg, that was close. Number one pops be better on a shorter track, but a good car that. And yeah, the tracks, it's all down to Google. Google have chosen the combos tonight. I thought that that was going to be a crazy combo, that was going to be a bit of a damp squib, if I'm honest, but it actually turned into a banger of a race. Your winner was Ollie. Luckily for him, Greg got that 1 second penalty. Otherwise, it was going to be really tight on the line. Greg White couldn't quite find a way through, but Ollie was first. Greg White did get the fastest lap of 5:42.766. He got an enormous start, but then the other guys reeled him in. Danny C in third. Number one Pops in fourth. Wills in fifth. Gamer Dan recovering from the back to take sixth. Scott Cheggers joining us after a year or so away in seventh. Stiggy in eighth. Jackie Boy ninth. Drac Fury 10th, Galacticor 11th, and Borky in 12th. Ollie, Greg, and Danny, you're 1, 2, and 3, but just showing in that one all about working together. Right, for the last race of the evening, we're off to Blue Moon Bay. We are in the full course. Oh, we've not got the infield. This is going to be interesting. We're going to go back out to 6 laps. And I am going to change event settings. So Blue Moon Bay, I thought we were going to get the infield bit. It isn't. This is going to be effectively the oval in the Subaru. Going to be interesting. Gamer Dan didn't know that was possible in these cars. And John Bourne saying that car would be good at Alsace. It would be. And Orby, that race was worth smashing the like button. Oh, absolutely. Gamer Dan, yeah, I got punted. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Stampy, P3, I was expecting to drop after the penalty. And Alsace or Goodwood would be good for that one. Absolutely. Like I said, for tonight, Google has picked the combos. We picked the combos at... I tell you what I'm going to do for this one, actually. I'm going to turn the qualifier back on because this one will be key for the slipstream. So I am going to get the guys to run a qualifier so that they can get the best possible place on the track. And what I will need to do is just let them know when the qualifier is going to be. And the qualifier is going to be at Q2. I'm going to get this really tight. I want to go for Q2 if we can. Hopefully they will be able to jump in the cars pretty quickly. Yeah. For those of you that have just joined me just recently, at 9 o'clock we ran a Google Sheets randomizer where it picked all of the cars that were in the used car dealership tonight against every single track combination that there is in the game. It randomized it, picked 5 cars at random, 5 tracks at random, and those are what we're running tonight. Nobody knew at 9 o'clock, well, just before 9 o'clock, nobody knew what we would be running tonight. Normally, I will announce the races during the day where people can get the cars, they can check the tracks, etc., and do some practice. Tonight, it has all been about the guys jumping into the appropriate car and trying to get the best out of the car around the tracks, not knowing the braking zones, the gear changes, the acceleration points, anything like that. It really has been an example and a showcase of the skills that some of these guys have got at PSR, that they can just jump in to different cars on different tracks and just run so closely. And we've seen some enormously close qualifying times, and I dare say we're going to see those as well now. We've got Greg White, Scott Cheggers, Danny C, Gamer Dan, Wheels Racing, Ollie, Drac Fury, Jackie Boy, Borky, Number One, Galacticor, Stiggy. They are all in the correct car. I'm just... Borky's in the wrong car. Borky, you got the wrong car, mate. And Scott Cheggers. Borky and Scott, wrong car. Where are we? Scott and Borky, wrong car. Stampy says, sorry, is this a championship? No, this is just my normal lobby races this evening. So these are just the normal lobby races that we do Monday to Friday. And it's a Friday night special when I very often will just throw something a bit strange and a bit weird out. And, you know, that's what we're doing tonight. And we've got these guys in these cars. And Borky, wrong car, my friend. Borky. I don't know if Borky's in the chat. If somebody can let Borky know he's in the wrong car. There we go. He's changing. But no, Stampy, I do this 9 to 11, Monday to Friday normally. And we normally have random cars and tracks. We have a randomizer that we pick the favourite races from. We get together and we just do a load of respectful racing. Just chilling. People will jump into one race or they do all of them. There is absolutely no pressure whatsoever. People can just jump in, relax. My take is we all have busy, hectic lives. A lot of us have problems, trials, tribulations, financial issues, health issues, relationship issues, all sorts of problems in life. And it just gives us 2 hours to get away from life. Just have some respectful racing. And that's what it's all about. That's what PSR has always been about and what I love about it. We do championship racing. Hulky Racing and TCSRL do the championship races, and they are not, Rita and Hulky are not in the lobby tonight, but they're where we do the serious racing. So those are my choices. Collaborating with those guys. Right, Greg White, Danny C, Gamer Dan, Wheels Racing, Ollie, I'm just checking the cars, Drap Fury, Jackie Boy, Borky, Number One Pops, Galactical, Stiggy. Scott is just coming back. I think he's just been off to buy the car, so I'm just waiting for Scott, and then we will get this one underway. It should be the Impreza Coupe Gr.x Type R STI version, whatever. I can't remember. I can't see anymore. Guys, we've got 24 people watching the stream. If you can, please smack the like button. And if you are new around here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm trying to get up to... Let's get the qualifying underway. I'm trying to get myself up to 5,000 subscribers, and we're stuck again at just under. I always get to around about a dozen subscribers before the next 100, and it plateaus, and it takes me forever to get over the 100, and then it jumps up really quickly. Thank you, Stampy. Thank you. Right, let's get out here and see what we're doing. We'll put the details on. So, brilliant little car for this one. Classic Subaru Impreza from back in the day. This is what I refer to as the proper Impreza. It's not the bug eye. It's not sort of the modern one that's gone all a little bit modern. This is where you had that beautiful boxer engine and the car that Colin McRae made, absolutely synonymous with World Rally Championships. And it is just an amazing car. That massive rear spoiler used to go up against the Mitsubishi Evo back in the day, but today we are just exactly the same cars for each of these guys. It is man and machine. Bop is on. They're all got the same cars. None of them have had the opportunity to do any practice. This really is a case of how good are these guys at getting to grips with the cars very quickly. Very little practice time, a 5-minute quali, and then into the race. And we have seen some amazingly tight qualifying times and some great side-by-side, bumper-to-bumper, paint-swapping races. Really respectful. One or two little incidents on track. Dan mentioned he got bumped off at Le Mans, and then he was in a battle to come back through. So lovely to see how Dan was recovering, and at the moment he's out front with Danny C and Wills, and yeah, be great to see these three guys battling. Not quite sure where Scott and Greg White are. Jackie Boy is in the mix as well here. Ollie in 7th. Of course, they've probably gapped at the moment to get the best possible qualifying time. At the moment, we've got Danny C got a bump, not a bump, he's got a slip on Gamer Down, so just pulled out to come across the line. And Wheels has gone fastest with a 54.9. Danny C with a 55.4. Scott Cheggers with a 55.7. Gamer Dan with a 55.7. Jackie Boy with a 55.8. Ollie also with a 55.8. And then number one Pops the first in the 56s at the moment. So as I suspected, it is going to be close for pole, and it's going to be quite interesting, this one, because a lot of this is going to be about slipstreaming as well as getting through the two tight corners. It is going to be about slipstreaming and when do people make their move. Only 6 laps, so it is a sprint race. When do you make your move? It's not all about hooning around here as quick as you possibly can, because you can be out front like Danny C is at the moment, and then you get 2 cars behind that work together and they're going to close the gap up. But then are they going to work together to jump you on the last lap? And then it comes down to which of the 2 that are working together is going to break the slip and go for the line. So strategy again in this one could, in inverted commas, be key. Could be key. You're not going to be able to call it. You're really not going to be able to call this, because it's man and machine and tactics and the decisions that the racers are going to make in the heat of battle. Are they going to make the right decisions? Are they going to make the wrong decisions? Are they going to get a little bit wide and tap the wall if they try and go around the outside of somebody? If they do risk going outside somebody, is somebody just going to slip a little bit wide in the dirty air and put you into the wall? Is somebody going to come down the inside, hug the inside line and come underneath you? And then are you going to be able to go a wider line to get on the power earlier, to open up the corner, to be able to slip and overtake down the straight? Are you going to be able to get the corner tight and get on the power, taking the shorter distance? You know, there's so many things to think in this one. So many different ways of playing it. And at the moment, all they're trying to do is to set the best possible lap time to give themselves the best possible track position off of the line. And of course, off the line, that is the reactions as well. We're not doing a rolling start. These are all standing starts on the lights. So again, reaction time will come into play. We've got some youngsters, we've got some middle-aged guys, we've got some older guys. You know, my reaction times off the line are horrendous compared to people like Ollie, who's got he's younger, he's got far better reaction time than I do. So who's going to get a good reaction time off the line? Again, I'm not racing tonight, I'm commentating all the way through because my body has told me I've got to rest, and I am resting, I am relaxing, and I can already feel the pressure and my headache has already subsided. But I do need to make sure that I let my body repair itself. So I do apologise that I'm not racing this evening, guys. I know that you want to see me racing, and all of the silly shenanigans that I get up to very, very often when I'm racing, the crashing, the spinning, the struggles, the trials, the tribulations, the frustration, the elation, all of the emotions that I go through. But you know what? I'm getting an awful lot of those emotions tonight, just watching these guys. I feel proud to be hosting these races and having these guys put on these fantastic races that are a real spectacle. And I'm sitting here chilling and enjoying watching these amazing, amazing people chucking these cars around these tracks side by side, bumper to bumper, nose to tail, swapping positions, probably laughing, screaming, swearing at each other. And I'm sitting here just lapping it up and enjoying it. It couldn't be better for a Friday night, could it? Couldn't be better. Look at this out front. Wheels Racing is on pole by 0.143. Stiggy is 0.016 ahead of Danny, who's 0.143 ahead of Outlaw, number one Pops, who's 0.143 ahead of Ollie, who's 0.019 ahead of Drat Fury, who's 0.026 ahead of Jackie Boy, who's 0.1717 ahead of Gamer Dan, who's 0.031 ahead of Scott, who's 0.0... There's nothing in it. You know, there is nothing in it. super, super, super tight. Like I said, this is all going to come down to strategy and who is in the right place at the right time on the last lap, and more importantly, on the last corner. Now, we've got 6 laps before we get to that fantastic ultimate conclusion of the racing this evening. I'm just going to let the guys pause for a moment just to think about how they're going to run this, because strategy is going to be key. This is not about raw power. All the cars are the same. Skill potentially is going to go out the window. Driving skill has gone out the window for this because it's not a technical track. This is strategy. 99% I would say strategy in this one. I don't know if they are going to agree. I mean, Ollie has just said, I'm going to say it, Jesus, super close. And just incredible. Game of Dan's just reminding me here, top 10, all under 1 second difference. So Wills is going to be leading us away with Stiggy on the front row. Second row is Danny C and number 1 Pops. Behind them will be Ollie and Drat Fury. Then we've got Jackie Boy and Gamer Dan. Behind them, Scott Cheggers and Galacticor. And on the back row, we've got Greg White and Borky. Nothing between it. Right. I am going to get this one going. They should all be watching the stream so they know that we're ready to go. If there's anybody out there that hasn't subscribed, please do me a favour and get me onto 90. I've been stuck on 89 and I desperately want to try and get to 5,000 subs. I just need 11 more. Guys, if you're out there and you've got a partner that's sitting with you watching this and they haven't subscribed and they've got a YouTube channel, could you do me a favour? Could you ask them to go and smack that subscribe button for me? It would really, really make my day if we could just get to that 5,000 subscribers over the weekend. Please, please, it will really make my day. I'd love it. I would absolutely love it. 21 of you, if your partner hasn't subscribed, get them on their phone, hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, while you're doing that, I am going to enjoy this race. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. A Blue Moon Bay. We are racing and we are away. Who has got the best reaction times? Will's racing with a beautiful reaction time there. He's already half a second ahead of Stiggy. And Stiggy has got Danny C coming up behind. And then we're probably going to get the slipstream is going to start to come into play fairly quickly. But it was Wills and Stiggy with the reaction time off the line there. We've got a couple of white cars, Danny C and Ollie, swapping paint on their cars. They're both white cars, so we won't be able to see it. But those two getting into each other. Stiggy going for a move underneath Wills Racing. So I did wonder whether there would be some strategy in this one. But at the moment, Stiggy's gone for the low line, Wills has gone for the high line, and Stiggy's got that one done. And behind them, we've got a massive, massive bunch of cars. Look at this gaggle of cars. Nothing in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars, 7, 8 with the 2 that are just slightly behind. And is Danny and Ollie that are just 0.2 ahead of the pack. But out front, it is Stiggy and Wills. Wills just tucking in behind Stiggy now. Oh, this is the corner. This is the tight one. If you get into the wall, you're in trouble. If you get it sideways, you're in trouble. It looks like there's a white car there just trying to... it was Greg, I think, that got roughed up at the back there or got it wrong, one or the other. He was in trouble. He's on the back with Borky now. Those two guys have been running quite a lot tonight. But I am going to just... forgive me, I'm going where the action is. I'd love to be looking at some of the other guys, but there's been so much action in this tonight. Whoa, somebody really sideways through there. That was Drat Fury with a big old drift, which has just dropped him a little bit of time, I think. He's still on turns with Danny, but the car fully sideways there. Now, the guys behind will have seen that as Scott he's lining himself up for a nice look down the inside. Can he make anything with that? Oh, Drat Fury into the wall there. I think that's going to cost him just a little bit as well there. It's so tight with these guys at the back there. Yes, number 1 Pops does go through. I think Scott could get a run on Drat Fury into this corner as well. He's going to duck underneath and see if he can come through. Oh, they're going to be side by side as they come out. And I think Scott does get just out in front, but Drat Fury is going to have the slipstream. So just up front at the moment, Stiggy 0.4 ahead of Wheels, who is now 1.5 behind the chasing pack that is led by now Danny C. I was just about to say Gamer Dan, but Danny C has just nipped through just less than 0.1 of a second as they go across the line. So Gamer Dan nicely in a slipstream. We're going to be seeing quite a few cars, I think, that are going to be swapping places as they're working together. But as I say that, Danny C's actually just pulled half a second gap out on Gamer Dan, who has got Scott right on his back bumper. Scott coming through nicely here at the moment, picking up places fairly consistently. He gets up the inside of Gamer Dan. Gamer Dan is almost definitely going to cut inside onto the slip, just trying to stay out the wall. We've got Scott, Dan, Gr.x and number one Pops all together. These guys really don't want to be sliding or into the wall too much. Oh dear, that looked like a car was big into the wall there. I think, was that number one? Possibly, I'm not quite sure. We've got Scott just looking at the outside of Gr.x Fury. I'm losing track on who is wearing this one. Dan now getting it sideways into that corner, just burning off speed and just managing to stay in fourth place despite the slide. But number one Pops going really, really well. He's setting himself up for a move up the inside of Gr.x Fury. Gets that one done. He's on the back of Gamer Dan now. Can number one drop underneath and get underneath Gamer Dan? No, he decides to go slightly high and he's going to drop underneath on the exit. Beautiful move from number one Pops there. Can he make that stick? He can't quite. Gamer Dan really throwing everything. He's apexing the car sideways to try and get through there, but no, there's two or three of them into the wall there. Number one Pops will have seen Gamer Dan into the wall. Look at the difference. When you hit the wall, that is the difference. And Scott Cheggers, we're going to be going three wide into the tight left-hander. Four cars all together. Who is going to come out of here first? Gr.x Fury again with a slide into the corner. And it is going to be number one Pops, I think, that is going to be slightly ahead of Gamer Dan. Scott Cheggers just dropping back ever so slightly on that one. Out front, it is still Stiggy and Wheels Racing. Stiggy's got this one nicely under control as he's going to come around for just one last corner in a moment. He is half a second ahead of Wheels, so unless Wheels can close up on the slip, I think Stiggy is going to get this one done. And Wheels is going to come across in second. We're going to join the other guys in just a moment. So it is going to be Stiggy, closely followed by Wheels for first and second. Danny C is going to get third. And then it is going to be a photo finish between Gamer Dan and number one Pops for fourth. We'll come back to that one in a moment. Jackie Boy just coming across the line to pick up 10th. And then we've got Greg and Borky that have been racing together all night long, 11th and 12th. But there was a photo finish. I told you it was going to be tight. It was tight. The tension builds whilst I do the save. So I'm not looking at the side of the screen there because I don't want to know who got it. The two of them will have looked. Was it Pops? Was it Dan? It was so close. Oh, so close. Oh. This is crazy. Ollie says, not sure. Thing kind of overworks. It was a very strange number of races this evening because Google sorted these out and chose them. It wasn't me. Stiggy was your winner. He did get the fastest lap of 54.824. Drove a blinding race, Stiggy, in that one really well. Wheels Racing not quite able to close up for the win. He was half a second behind in the end with a 54.8. Danny C did get third, a 55.226, with number one Pops getting fourth place. Less than a hundredth of a second between number one Pops and Gamer Dan in fifth. Scott Cheggers coming through to claim sixth ahead of Ollie. Gr.x Fury in eighth. Galacticor in ninth. Jackie Boy joining us tonight in 10th. Greg White in 11th and Borky in 12th. So to finish up, Stiggy, Wills and Danny C, your 1, 2, 3. Big thank you to Scott Cheggers for joining us this evening, as well as Jackie Boy. That is your taster one for tonight. If you want to do any more, guys, please consider joining PSR for more like this in the future. We are at 11 o'clock. I am going to have to call it a night for now, guys. I will thank you all very, very much. But I do need to call it a night, and I'm done. Brain scrambled, voice going, commentary all night long. Loved every single race this evening. I am hoping that I can get my head in the game and sort it out for the Nordschleife race tomorrow. It will be the manufacturers. When I will get to do that in the day, I haven't got a clue, because I don't normally run on a Saturday. So I'm going to try and do that race. Not going to guarantee it. If I do, I will almost definitely live stream it. And then I am out in the afternoon, so it'll be a morning run if I get to do it. Can I just say a massive thank you to everybody that's raced with me this evening. I thought that was going to be a bit of a strange one, and we might only get 2 or 3 races. In the end, we had a whole load. Nobody knew what they were going to be racing. Nobody knew the cars. Nobody knew the tracks until at 9 o'clock. And then we were racing at 10 past. No time to prep, but it generated some absolutely phenomenal races tonight. And I, for one, enjoyed that immensely. Thank you to everybody that raced tonight, that made the stream possible, that made everything possible to do this. A million thank yous to all of you. Thank you to everybody that has liked and subscribed this evening. Well, nobody's subscribed. I think I'm still stuck on 89. But thank you to everybody that has liked. Thank you to everybody that has contributed in the chat. Everybody that socialized with us. Thank you to those people that have come back and found PSR again after being away for a while. It's always great to see the familiar old names that pop in again. Thank you to everybody, and just have yourselves a great weekend. And those of you that are doing the manufacturers tomorrow, good luck. The very best of luck to all of you. It's going to be a tough old race. Stick with it, and hopefully we can all get some decent results. And then we'll be back on Monday for some more respectful lobby racing, which I will be back to promoting the tracks and the cars, so it won't be unknown. A little bit of Friday night special. Let me know in the chat if you enjoyed this one, guys, especially those of you that are racing. Give me a double thumbs up if you really, really enjoyed both watching and racing. Not something we've done before. This was all down to Drat Fury, who put the idea in my head. We wrote the spreadsheet earlier on today. Worked really well. It's given us some cracking racing, and if we like it, we'll do it again. In the meantime, I will catch you a little bit later, hopefully tomorrow, if not Monday. For now, take care. Bye, guys.